Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? The Reddit search function is intentionally bad or not purposely bad, but they know how to fix it but refuse to encourage more new posts. God, it's so awful. Apple started the meme about AirPods being expensive as a marketing ploy. Happened around Christmas. You might be right. Not only thing that was happening. I was in there getting my laptop fixed and they were offering $150 gift card for anyone who bought a phone or laptop. Since people were buying stuff already, the extra money made AirPods a lot more affordable. I feel like I see them 5 times more often ever since the memes started, but the memes also caused me to acknowledge their existence more, so who knows. That the government made this post to see if we were onto them. Holy shiz. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. And don't forget about Disney on Ice too. Everyone knows Disney on Ice was created to offset the Google searches curious about going to Disneyland while high on meth. In other words, Disney just wants us to let it go. Cops go on Waze and leave random police sightings to cause people to slow without actually having to stay and check on people. Michael Jordan's first retirement was actually a suspension by the NBA because of his gambling. It was to avoid a suspension. Subtle difference. Avoid a public suspension. I mean, if the league gives you the option to take a suspension or take a few years off, it's still technically the league suspending you. The real reason Apple removed the headphone jack was to try to remove Square Pay systems as a competitor for Apple Pay. Well, I'll be damned. This is the only plausible reason I've ever heard for removing the 3.5mm jack. Couldn't they just make a model that uses the charging port though? They would still take a hit in users having to buy a new card reader though, I guess. Rob Gronkowski didn't actually injure his groin after scoring his 69th career touchdown. He just thought it would be funny, appropriate. That's easily believable. MLB pitcher Brandon McCarthy retired with 69 wins and a 4.20 ERA. Truly living the dream. Well, he did intentionally miss a free throw at the end of a game in high school basketball so that his team would finish with 69 points. Snapchat worked with the FBI to popularize and secretly test and improve face recognition technology. We went from, wow, this is like magic, to this is totally normal in a few years, and there's no way that the technology isn't being by law enforcement. Have you read the terms and agreements of Snapchat? It's not that secret that most social media is selling your information, including the one we're using right now. Yeah, even your score in tests like CAPTCHA are used to train AI. Lotteries are actually traps for time travelers. That would make a great writing prompts. I've seen it on there a long time ago. Any chance someone has a link to it? Stephen Hawking already held a party for time travelers. And no one showed up. If I were a time traveler, or have any magic, supernatural powers, the last thing I would do is to reveal myself to the scientific community. Or to anyone else for that matter. The development of the F-35 fighter jet is so over budget so the military can fund other top-secret projects without making a new line item on the budget. It's the only conspiracy theory I believe. $10,000 for a hammer. $20,000 for a toilet seat. D.B. Cooper. The gentleman that disappeared with $200K after jumping out of a Boeing 727 that he had hijacked. Took the money and created www.imdb.com. I was halfway through typing my Google search before I realized it was a pun-neutral face. Wait. What does a movie website have to do with 30 seconds later. Oh. There were no further notable Cooper imitators until July 11, 1980, when Glenn K. Tripp seized Northwest Flight 608 at Seattle-Tacoma Airport, demanding $600, $100, by an independent account, 2 parachutes, and the assassination of his boss. However, a quick-thinking flight attendant had secretly drugged Tripp's alcoholic beverage with Valium. After a 10-hour standoff, during which Tripp reduced his demands to 3 cheeseburgers and a head start on getting away, he was apprehended. This could be a movie. I'm a fan of the XKCD theory that he's Tommy Wiseau. I always hear the advice that in order to stop being heckled by Scientologists, just ask where Shelley went or ask about the circumstances of her disappearance. It usually shuts them up. She went to the mothership, bro. She's with Master Chief on the Pillar of Autumn, bro. How often are you heckled by Scientologists? Open mic night in Clearwater can be rough. Similarly, if you are raided by Jehovah's Witnesses, best to say you were one but quit and were shunned, or were disfellowshipped, before you finish sentence. They will be running away, never to return. They are forbidden from talking with expats, because higher-ups fear they have too good arguments. Mattress firms aren't only holding mattresses. Buddy. After reading about this on Reddit, I got to thinking. Once I needed a new bed, I decided to check it out. I went in and was approached by 2 salesmen. They had this $499 mattress that I really liked. The sales guy saw the twinkle in my eye and knew that I must have this mattress. I told him I liked it but I needed something more budget-friendly. I was a broke ass at the time. He then said, well, we can do this one here on the floor for $950. I told him, to be honest, I only have $400 to spare. He says, hold on a minute while I make a call. Then comes out and says, okay, we can do $400. Just come back in an hour while we prep it. I left, came back, and they even helped me lift it up to my truck. Honestly, the best mattress I've ever owned. I get compliments all the time. Is this just a brag about your appearance? I believe mattresses have huge margins. But there does seem to be an unbelievable amount of mattress stores around. There is a frame store in my town that has really weird hours. Only open a few days a week. Also seems like a great opportunity for money laundering. That the CIA post this question every time so they know what the general public suspect. _redacted . Here's an actual list of proven conspiracies. Damn, that's a big rabbit hole I'm about to go into. See y'all tomorrow. Some of these are wild. I would not have believed them if I didn't know they were true. One of my favorites is that the government was behind Throwback Thursday in order to get us to digitize and upload pictures that they would not have had access to in order to improve age progression, facial recognition algorithms. I don't know about TBT, but the 10-year challenge provided anyone who wanted to grab it a massive amount of training material for a face recognition AI. Maybe the 10-year challenge was born when the government or Facebook or the Chinese, Russians heard the conspiracies about TBT and said, you know what? That's actually not the worst idea. Or Facebook wanting the data for the same reason. Multiple football World Cups have been influenced either by governments hosting them or other entities out for their own gain. 2002 South Korea, Japan, and 1978 in Argentina are the 2 most obvious ones that come to mind. It's well known that international sports, including soccer and the Olympics, are huge septic pools of corruption. FIFA is absolutely the most corrupt organization in sports. Long John Silver's is some kind of money laundering scheme on the basis that they have been open for as long as I can remember, but I have also literally never seen a busy Long John's. Toxic delusion that I ironically entertain. Perhaps. You clearly didn't grow up in a white trash family. LJS is a poor man's Red Lobster. We would eat fast food almost every night when I was growing up. and maybe once a month get LJS. It was a treat. There is a LJS near my house that I have legit never been to. Or seen anyone go inside of or use the drive-thru. It's been there for 10+ years. While other businesses like McDonald's and KFC have opened and closed locations within a block. The oil and coal industries invested heavily in killing off nuclear power as an attractive alternative. These days we have reactor designs many times safer than other methods of generating power. And the waste issue is something that could be fixed with sufficient investment. The government experiments on the mentally insane because no one will believe someone with that kind of medical history. I feel like people overlook the fact that the government actually did experiments on Americans and fricked at least one of them up so bad that he moved to the middle of the woods and started mailing bombs to people. According to Kaczynski himself, the accounts of the MKUltra experiments have been wildly overhyped. To this day he claims he's mentally sound. He even wrote an autobiography from prison, Truth versus Lies, to dispel this idea that the CIA fried his brain. Bob Vance was just trying to plug his business to the cameras every time he introduced himself. Kevin played dumb and was actually embezzling and/or laundering money. When they find out the one guy from Stanford was arrested for insider trading. Kevin even says, "That sounds exactly like what I do every day." 100%. He gets fired and immediately owns a business. I saw this with Wizard of Oz. But Paul Blart is an entirely new level that I'm not ready for. Not gonna lie. Started out kinda weak, maybe even forced. Then that guy fired off the gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, and my jaw dropped. Only got better from there. Nah, the real conspiracy is that Pink Floyd discovered a universal rhythm that all human beings unknowingly create, in which is why so many different pieces of media sync up with DSOTM. Stay woke.